Hello there, my crafty friends. It's Diane, the Creative Inkster, and it is September 11th. I'm bringing you another 3D project with the Humble Home Punch. So again, not using the stamp set, but I do promise you a card in that. I think somebody else in this group is also using Humble Home, so I'm glad my projects are just a little bit different than perhaps what they've been sharing. This punch, Builder Punch, definitely going to get a lot of use out of in the mini catalog, September to December 2024 on page 46. So here was the inspiration for this project. So I was looking around in my craft area and I had this partially finished screen card. And I couldn't get my head around what I wanted to do more with it. I knew I wanted to use this online exclusive vellum and such, so I'd kind of set it aside. And as I looked over there and saw that, I began to develop an idea for this project. So here's my home screen card, which sits up on its own in a lovely way that way, or it could sit on the corner of a desk at your home office or in the corner of a little table. And I've made the O piece interchangeable, so as we get through the various holiday period, this for us here in Canada in October is Thanksgiving or just autumn. And then we have pumpkins for Halloween. I'm going to show you how to make all of these different pieces. This is just a little Velcro dot. One of my favorite fall or autumn activities is picking apples. So there we are with the harvest. And then once we land into the holiday time, wishing you peace, joy, and light. And I think that covers a number of holidays beyond just Christmas. It doesn't scream Christmas. And some beautiful blackberry bliss. So you've seen some of our different products. I'm going to do my best to talk about them and point them out as we make each of these pieces. All right, let's get started. We're going to make the home piece first. So let's move our little center pieces for now. And what you need for this is a card-based piece that is 5.5 by 11 for the measurements I'm going to give you. So you don't quite get 2 out of a page, just 1. And we're going to score it at a few different spots. So let's get my scoring tool out here. Normally I would use my Simply Scored. I'm going to see if I've got enough space for the arm to be sticking out. So we're going to score it at 2 3/4. Line the left side up, all of them, the whole length, along the long length, or the wider length of 11 inches at 2 3/4, 5.5, and 8 1/4. So if you're good at math, you'll know that we have scored it in half and then each segment scored in half again. Okay, great. Now we're going to do a little bit of folding, punching, and die cutting. So we're going to fold accordion style, like that. We're going to grab our bone folder and carefully add a little bit of pressure to the folds. We're going to unfold it again to work on it as well. This is a bit of a bigger project, but it's kind of fun. I really like it. So I pulled in some of our punches from the annual catalog. This is the Heartfelt Hexagon. And what you're looking for is any kind of a punch that is this size. So this is like our large size punches, not the smaller width ones. And that has somewhere that's sort of an even bump or decorative side to it. So there's been a lot of them over the years. And at the bottom, you're going to stick it in. Now you'll notice by being 2 3/4 segments before the fold, that's pretty much the width of the punch, which makes it pretty perfect. So I just stick it in so that I can see my cardstock evenly placed in my punch left to right. And I am just starting on the left side, doesn't have to. And I'm going to punch up about halfway. Now don't get concerned that it's not, how exactly far down is halfway. You could measure it, and on other punches, I've measured and I put a black mark because I've used them that many times for this. But I'm going to do a little bit of eyeballing for the first one, and then I'll show you how I helped line it up for the other ones. So Just punch that piece out, and that's how we're going to begin to have these archways. So then for the next one, I'm going to fold it over. So here's the other two pieces on this side, and I'm just going to slide it back in and use my previous punch as a bit of a guideline on where I'm going to punch next. Okay, so now I have two. I'm going to fold it over and do the same thing again. It's not perfect, but it's certainly going to get me further there quicker. And if it's hard to punch, you're going through too many pieces and you've covered up where you were. So now I'm going to take my last panel without punching on it and fold it over and line this up again. And that's how easy the easel part is. Oh, get in there, you. There we go. So there's my 4 pieces. So my screen card, I called it easel card, it's actually a screen card, is going to stand up nicely. Alrighty. With this one here, I'd used an older punch. Didn't quite like it anyway, so that's why it was sitting on the shelf. Alrighty, so there's that part. Now we've got to die cut some pieces out of here. So I'm going to pull my large Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I've got some dies. So these are the deckled rectangles. I'm going to tell you what size. This one is roughly 2 3/8 width, and that's the one that I'm going to cut out of the center of each panel. So let me grab the cut and emboss machine. Get this ready. I'm missing a plate. There we go. Cut into the more scratched up one, and this will fit nicely top to bottom in here. You're just going to kind of take an eyeball look to position it. You could go through and take a pencil and mark it if you like. That's up to you. That's pretty much where I wanted it, maybe a little bit down. There we go. Could you make this 4 1/4 tall? Yeah, probably. It would just be a much smaller opening. All right, so we're going to run the first one through. Apologies for the wiggling with the camera, which is right beside it. Now don't toss these pieces out from the insides, because you can use them on another card or use them on something. I have a whole bunch left from doing a couple of variations of this card. And we'd line the next one up. And we're making our cute little windows. Now another way to do the screen card without vellum and windows, like I'm doing here, is to put pattern paper, cardstock in the center pieces and putting your home words there. I just really like the idea of using the vellum. It's from the online exclusives, and it's called Graceful Greenery Vellum. It's quite pretty. I love vellum, and I love using it on projects. So this one was getting the royal treatment with that. There's the next one. And I've done this before where I've done 4 panels, and then I've added another 4 panels to it and done like the word Thanksgiving or holidays or something like that to make it even bigger. Fun. All right, here's our 4th one through. All right, I'm not going to move the cut and emboss machine. I'm going to show you one more thing before I get going. So there's our base. On the back of the vellum pieces, I have put a little frame to kind of hide or tidy up the back where the vellum was attached. I'm going to give you a better measurement than on my sample here, but I have 3 frames in the matching green. I'm making a 4th right here, right now, to show you how to do that. So for that, you need a piece of, this is what we're going to make, is the little frames. You need a piece of corresponding, or you could do like something that matches it nicely. Of this, I'm using Mossy Meadow. you need the same die for the opening plus the die above it in size so that you're making that frame. Now you can go 2 up it. It just may not fit on this card, but I went with 1 size up. And it's going to cut out of this. Just trying to kind of line it up here. There we go. That's good. Put the lid on, the sandwich, and so by cutting the 2 at the same time, you end up with your frame that we need for this. You end up with another inside piece to reuse on something else. And you also end up with this other frame that was left over. So lots of extra pieces you can use for other stuff. All right, so that's it for this. And we'll get going on this. So here's our original one. And we're going to just do our folds again. So we're doing them back and forth, because as we put it through, it kind of squished those folds that we had. And now we're going to flip it over to the back side. And on the back side, I'm going to put my vellum pieces. So I've already cut them. This is a bigger piece of that greenery, so you have a sense of what that vellum looks like. It's quite nice. And I cut 4 that were 2 3/8 inches wide by 3 7/8 inches long. And then they're going to fit on here. And those lovely little frames that I made, this is the back side, so I'm going to put the front side showing, will now hide a little bit better the edges. You see how that's a little more flush than my original one. My original one had the vellum a little bit longer, and so the vellum's peeking through, but we can get this so that it doesn't peek through. It looks a lot nicer and tidier. Okay, so we're on the back side of our screen card. We're going to put the vellum down. Now, because we're not going to see it at all, it's going to be attached to the cardstock, we can use liquid glue. I'll get my liquid glue going here. If I was having vellum show, you know, it's hard. You want to maybe don't want to see all the bits and pieces. All right, so again, I'm starting on the right, not quite sure why. So the vellum has a right side and a back side. So I want the right side down because this is the window through. And on the good side of it, I'm just going to put a thin bead of this all the way around. It's going to dry clear, so like if I mess it up, it's okay. That glue came a little bit fast for my liking. And try to center it. Yeah, there we go. A little bit's going to show. That's okay. It's going to dry. It's going to dry clear, and I'm going to be okay with it. You can always use an adhesive eraser to take it out. And I suppose I could put a little bit of the glue on the Mossy Meadow. It's just I don't know exactly how close to the edge I'm going to get. But let's try and get this on here and see how that goes. So right close to the edge, and I'm going on the right side of it. If your hands aren't steady, you could use a sponge to add your adhesive a little bit. Just put it on, squeeze some of the adhesive onto a silicone mat, silicone craft mat, and then use a sponge or an old paintbrush or a cheap feathered paintbrush from the dollar store to adhere it. So I'm going to move it down just a smidge there. That's a measurement, by the way, a smidge. Okay, there's the second one. I did better. I'm happy. Here's my third panel. Whoa, you just came out really quickly, didn't you there, Mr. Glue? One of the ladies in my class who's kind of new to using liquid glue does the dot process. So she just puts little dots down. And that might work well for this. Just channeling my rose. here and what she would do. Oops, scoot you down to just a smidge there, mister. Okay. And the last one. I'm just going to give it a little squeeze. So definitely a screen card for the first time out. I wouldn't even cut the openings, and I would just put a panel on it and call it a day. But this was just kind of a fun way to kind of do something over the top and share that with you. There we go. So now we've let them those pieces get down and dry a little bit. That's our good side. That little piece of fleck of, I'm not quite sure what, off of there. So on the back side again, we're going to add our frames, and that's just going to finish off the edges. And so that requires a little bit of glue. Now I guess I could have used some adhesive sheets. Feel free to forward through this piece here. I don't know how to do that on my video, or I would. You know how some people have fancy videos and they fast forward through? I'm not sure how to do that. There we go. Add our little panel. Whoop. I have a little glue on my fingers. There we go. And when this all dries up, I'm going to, it's still a bit tacky, I'm going to go ahead and use my eraser. I mean, it doesn't actually ever dry. Liquid glue, it actually, when it's paper to paper, on the paper it does, but when it's open to the air, it doesn't actually dry. You get of a tacky nature to it. And you can fold this card and fit it into a regular sized envelope for mailing. It fits fine in the 4 panels. Might be a little bit of an oversize for mailing purposes, but generally you can get it in the mail because it's going to be quite wide, or you could just fold it once in half and put it in possibly into a larger envelope, a little bit larger, you know, the ones that are like a 5 by 7, and mail it. Those bigger cards that you buy in the store, if you buy cards in the store, you know what I mean. Okay, last one. And we'll get on to the fun decorating part. This video is going to be a little wee bit longer, but I think it'll be worth it because you'll see those different pieces that I'm going to put together, and I've got some of it prepped already. Alrighty, so there's our frame. I want to let that piece dry. So I'm going to set this aside to dry, and we are going to work on our other pieces. So let's find our Home Builder punch, and we're going to grab some black cardstock. I just chose that as a neutral color. We need 3. There we go. Oop, oop, oop. There you go. There we go. These little pieces out of the way. And we're going to, this time I'm going to put the chimney, different from another project I did with the houses. I'm going to put the chimney on the left side. I've already die cut out the letters, and I did that using a piece of old olive cardstock and an adhesive sheet, which I always cut my adhesive sheets to just a smidge smaller than the cardstock. That way when it squishes out, I don't get all that stickiness going onto my plates, my magnetic plates. And then I have the letters H, M, and E, but I've already die cut them out, so why don't we just zoom to that piece. Put my dies back in here so as I don't lose them. All right, so they already have adhesive sheets, making them quite simple to peel off. There you go. Each. And if you don't have a nail to be able to do that with, grab your scissors, paper snips, or your take your pick tool. They work well. And just a reminder, whatever side you're going to put your chimney on, make that a little consistent with your letters. I think this is a cute card. A little over the top, but cute. And I won't use it as a card. I will use it on my work desk at home, or I would put it by the door. So I'm going to put, how many did I put on the back of this? I did put 3. So I'll put 2 just this time, just for the sake of expediency. So with the vellum, you are going to see the glue dots or Stampin' Dimensionals that are running on the back. So we're going to flip this back over the one we're working on now. Those are pretty much dry. And we're going to get these in place. So this part's easy. And then we can work on the O for the letter O and the various interchangeable pieces that we're going to put there. M and E. Okay, cute, cute, cute. All right, so to keep it consistent, when I made this, I had all of the pieces on an oval. And I like to work with punches because they're just so much quicker and easier than putting it through and die cutting. So I have the modern oval punch, and that's the one I'm going to use here. Afterward, I realized I could have coordinated with the hexagon one that I used at the bottom. I tried doing that with this for the bottom, but it didn't work out well. But I'm fine with this now. So what we need, I'm just going to clear the decks a little bit here. For the pumpkin, we need a piece of pumpkin pie. And we need the bee punch. You recognize the bee punch? This makes a really cute pumpkin. So we're going to slide that in and punch 3 of them out. I'm going to show you how to make them look more like a pumpkin. So the first thing we want to do is grab some scratch paper, put underneath because I'm going to do something a little bit messy. I grab my pumpkin pie ink pad and a blending brush. Oh, pumpkin pie, where have you gone? There we are. And we're going to just color this up a little bit. So I'm going to do these with the end of the bee is going to be the top of the peduncle for the pumpkin. So we're going to add some color with the blending brush just on the left side of one, on the right side of the other. And so because I'm right-handed, I'm going to turn it upside down. It just adds a little bit more dimension to it. And then doing both sides are kind of all the way around the outside of the third one. And that just gives a nice bit of texture. And then we're going to glue them together. So you have if you had a really small stamp, you could even like do Happy Halloween or something with it. Now I'm going to glue these 2 together in such a way that this is going to go over the top. And so we got to cut these little pieces off the top. So grab your paper snips and just follow the circle around. So that's the left one. I'm sorry, that's the right one. This is the left one. We're going to glue them together. Let's move this messy piece out of the way. Pretty much half and half, I'd say. Little glue there, paper to paper goes pretty well. Let's see how that's going to fit on my oval. It could go in a little bit more. There we go. And then for the top piece, the peduncle, I'm going to grab my pecan pie dark Stampin' Blend. I'm just going to color it right in. I start at the top, and they're never centered, like they're never perfectly aligned there. There's that piece. And we will glue that onto those two. Went right through. See that how strong that Stampin' Blend is? It colored right through to the other side. All right, here's our nice, abundant pumpkin. And so I have one of the oval punches, and I have already embossed one or two of them. So I used timber in this case, embossing folder. This one here was the new plaid, Forever Plaid. So I'm going to put this up on dimensionals because this is that kind of a card or project that requires it. Ooh, I've kind of gone to the edges. Am I good? I'm still good. Yeah, all good. Crisis averted. Don't need that anymore. There we go. I feel like I need to trim the bottom here a little bit. There we go. I'm going to center that top to bottom, and that will be the piece that goes there. So that one's done. Now we're going to do the leaves. And for this one, I've already pre-cut some things out. This was the first one I did, and I didn't really like it for putting the ribbon on. I thought I didn't really like it in a row. So then I cut some more of them. Let me get all my pieces out here. This time I'm going to put this one on the Forever Plaid. So I didn't like that one. I die cut some of these leaves in cherry cobbler, pumpkin pie, and crushed curry. And these are from the Autumn Expressions dies. See how lovely they go together? I liked how I made this one. Actually, now that it's sitting upside down on my table, I kind of like it upside down versus right side up. So let's do that. So I have crushed curry on the right, pumpkin pie on the left, and a little color of cherry cobbler down here. So I've arranged them the way I want them to look. So now I'm going to flip it over, grab my dimensionals, and I'm going to add the dimensionals now, and that helps adhere them all together rather than trying to glue them and make sure they land the way I want them to. I'm just going to let the dimensionals do all the work. There's my already punched with the modern oval base for it, and I embossed it. You don't have to do that step, but it's kind of fun. And I like that this is kind of upside down. And then this ribbon is the cherry cobbler and gold satin ribbon. It's 1/4 inch. It's in the mini catalog, and it is on page 25. There we go. We're going to add just a little bit of a bow. I could have also gone with linen thread. I use a lot of linen thread. And I thought, oh, you know what? It's the fall. We've got this cute mini catalog with lots of beautiful textures and colors. Let's coordinate. So let's cut this a little bit smaller bow. Hey, you. There we go. Grab a glue dot. Grab a glue dot. Grab a glue dot. Stick that on there, and we'll put that at the top. And these ones are hanging down. I like that. I like the look of that. So that's our second one done. Now for this gal, how this one came about was I had stamped and colored the girl from Warms My Heart for my Warms My Heart Avid Stampers class. And I had it sitting on my desk. It wasn't cut out or anything. And actually it was in a circle. And I'm like, I'm not going to use it for that class, but I kind of liked it. So what I did here is punched it out with the modern oval. So I got rid of the circle shape it was. And then I superimposed a piece of Old Olive behind the white, glued it down, and then I hand cut a rim around it. So I will show you how to do that. I've just got a piece of white here somewhere to do this stamping and coloring. So you need your Memento ink and the stamp. She was here a minute ago. Where did she go? Well, my dear lady, where are you? Where's the stamp? Here's my little basket of goodies for this class, or for this video. It warms my heart that I cannot see her anywhere. Let me just see if my stamp set, she's in my stamp set, maybe I've put her away. No, she's not there. She can't be far. Thank you. Talk amongst yourselves. Thank you for waiting while I try to figure out where my stamp went to. A lot of product going on in this video. Okay, cannot locate her, so we will just use this one. But basically I stamped it in Tuxedo Black Memento ink, which works great with Stampin' Blends. And then to color it, I used Azure Afternoon, light and dark, Real Red dark, the apples, and Granny Apple Green dark, light, for the other apples in the basket. And then I used my 2 pecan pies to do the basket. And then for her hair, I used some dark crumb cake. So those are the Stampin' Blends that I used on this one. And then, as I mentioned, I punched it out with the modern oval and then glued it onto a piece of Old Olive. This was a scrap, and hand cut it out. So there she is, done. How quick was that? And the last one is with some beautiful and lush looking Blackberry Bliss. So you're going to need 2 because we want to hide the ribbon behind. So on this piece, which is basically 3 3/4, so I go like 4 by 3, you can punch 2 of these modern ovals. And we will stamp the greeting from Light the Way stamp set, page 41, and it says, wishing you peace, joy, and light. So we're going to do some embossing. Oh, guess what? Reaching around to find my embossing powder, I found the girl's stamp. Thank goodness, now I know where she is. Okay, so we're going to do some stamping. So I put my Wow embossing powders, different colors, in these containers, and I use my Versamark. I do not wipe it with the buddy. I don't have time. I just want to get it done. So I stamp it down in Versamark, and then I quickly grab my powder and stick it in, tap it off. Ooh, missed a little corner piece on the W. Give it a little flick to get the excess off. There we go. Once you have the powder on after Versamark, you can let it sit. I have done 50 and let them sit and then heat emboss them afterwards. The key is getting the powder on after the Versamark. So now I'm going to grab my tool, which is right behind me. It's a bit loud. I'm going to turn it on so as to heat it up before I get going with it. And I put it on a little cardboard, or no, clipboard, so I don't burn my fingers. Always let your heat tool heat up though. It'll give a more even embossing. Remember the first time we saw heat embossing? It's like magic. There we go. There's our heat embossing done, all dry. And then the ribbon is blackberry and gold 1/2 inch ribbon from the mini catalog, of course. Ooh, there we go. All right, it's gorgeous. This is beautiful ribbon. And so what I want to do is I want to have a little bump on the top and a bump on the bottom. So what I did is put a strip of tear and tape down the center. Tear and tape. It's a good friend for this kind of thing. Ribbon needs tear and tape, sometimes the Seal Plus or glue dots. Oopsie, 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 oopsie. There we go. So down the center, peel the back off. And then I put the ribbon so that the ends, the frayed ends, were kind of in the middle. They met in the middle, so put it down that way, turn it over. I just kind of eyeballed how much I needed. What is that? I suppose I could have measured it. That wouldn't be me. That's 6 inches, sort of. And then just kind of get this one lined up. And then press down. You could do frayed ends too if you wanted. And then with the tear and tape that's down the middle, it's going to stick to that a little bit. And then to help it all stay nicely and look good on the back and have the Velcro dot not tear the ribbon apart, I made the other punch out, and I'm going to glue it together. So I'll put the glue just on the outside edges. I know it's going to grab the ribbon at the top and bottom, but that's okay. So I'll line it up, squish it together. Might need a little block sitting on it to keep it, get it to adhere nicely. And that's that piece done. All right, so let me show you the Velcro dot piece. Then I simply get these Velcro dots. You can buy them anywhere. Our dollar store is where I buy mine. And you need to put one here and then the opposite type on the other side. So what do I have lots of? I have lots of the puffy ones. So I will take the non-puffy, or the sort of hard one, and put that in the center here, and then get the puffy ones out and put one on the back of each of these. So I didn't do that one. I can leave that one to go. Here is the leaves going down, and peace and joy. And then the pumpkins. Oops, not that one. Wait a minute, what am I missing? Oh, right, because the girl's already done. Okay, here we go. And now we are ready. I'm going to put the girl on this one up here because she's got the right backing too. And then we'll put, let's put these ones because I like these ones. How I've changed that up. And put that one there. Is that the right one? Yep. And there we have it. Our screen card, ready to mail. Thanks for watching. This was a little bit longer video, but I think it was worth it. If you have any questions, let me know. Enjoy. Have a great day. Bye.